I think a lot of Season 2 kingdoms are solving the wrong problems. And honestly, probably would do exactly the same thing. A couple of days ago, I was reading through a Discord discussion, and one of the kingdom was talking about kicking 50 inactive players because they couldn't accept anyone who want to migrate in. At first, I thought, yeah, that makes sense, right? I mean, you want to kick out your dead weight. More space mean more active players, problem solved. But then someone else replied that their kingdom became a winning 4 billion power kingdom in season 3. And they only kick it around 10 people. That's completely changed how I was looking at this situation, because now there is are two successful players saying completely different things. So who actually is right? And this is one of the old questions in the servers that appear. This is how many players we should keep, how many players we should, keep, how many players we should kick out. And to be fair, something that I noticed through the years, and boy oh boy, I have played this game for a very long time. How much? I don't even remember how much days. It's like 1175 consist of daily logins. So something that I notice in this situation is that even if you invite the new players, you don't know how this new player, the moment you invite him, how he's going to perform in this season, or about the next season, or about the 2 seasons in future. You don't know what is going to happen. In the same time, you're having a player who is performing bad. You don't know what is going to happen if you kick this player. Maybe he gets some free time, and right now he's going to be able to play, or whatever. And the switch can happen. You think you're getting some active players in your kingdom, but in the same time you're getting somebody who actually performed well in the previous season, which is giving some good hopes, but it may perform bad in the next season with your kingdom. And I have seen this over and over again, because every player, the majority of the people, have their ups and downs. Now, to be consistent for 4 years every season it's just not possible. The only thing is, maybe you just don't have anything else to do and you're only playing this game, because I was having my good seasons and my bad seasons like everybody else. So you don't know in which phase the player you're basically inviting in your kingdom is right now. So the more I keep reading, this conversation, the more I realize everyone was focusing on the inactive players. Nobody was really talking about the system itself. And I think that's where the mistakes start, because if your kingdom has like 200 people on the migration list, but only 70 players actually are playing, of course you're going to blame the inactive accounts. I was also doing that, and to be fair, I get frustrated a lot of times when I was playing. I see on the battlefield where, like, I don't know, maybe 10 or maybe 20 players fighting, and at the same time we're like 100 and something and 70 people, 190 people inside this alliance, and only 20 players show up. I was like, come on, brother, you should start playing, okay? But here's the weird part. Almost every season 2 kingdom is saying the exact same thing. They're all complaining about dead weight. They're all saying they cannot accept enough players. They're all frustrated with the migration. So if everybody has the problem, is it really your kingdom that's broken, or it's simply how season 2 actually works? Now, I talk about the season 2 because the conversation it was about the season 2, but at the end of the day, this is almost every kingdom. No exception. Basically, no exception. The only exception I was thinking was back in the days was Echo. For the old players who remember, they know Echo. And this alliance was very solid for a very long time. So, it's not something that is happening in the season two kingdoms, it's happening everywhere. Now, normally, from what I see, one kingdom on average survive between 3 to 4 seasons, and every season is like 2 months, so 4 seasons is like, I don't know, 4 seasons are like 8 months, maybe nine or maybe 10 months, something like this. I mean, this is on average how much one kingdom is surviving. So when you start playing, the player who is joining your alliance maybe is having some time right now. He's having some time to play the game, but maybe in the future he changed his job, and right now he's just not having this time. Okay, just not having this time. Maybe he's having a child. Maybe he married. Maybe a lot of things can be. So you cannot expect the current position of somebody to be exactly the same after 1 year, and maybe after one more years, and etc. So the person can be extremely, and I see this over and over again. The person can be extremely active, and at one point he go to university, and from there, the life take him. He start party. This stuff scene is not going to play anymore. Maybe, I don't know. I have seen this example. So you cannot expect the people to be in the same position um, after 1 year or 2 years. And that's when I think the real discovery appears. The inactive players aren't the disease, they are just the symptoms. Because imagine you somehow remove every inactive account tomorrow. Would your kingdom suddenly become amazing? Not really. You do still have to recruit. You still need leaders. You still need active fighters. You still need people willing to reinforce, heal, and show up every single war. Removing that weight doesn't automatically create a strong kingdom, it just remove one obstacle. And I think a lot of leaders confuse those two things. And I see this over and over again. I mean, the kingdom is making some recruitments, and the next season is performing little above the average, and I cannot say how much time I actually see that. The kingdom recruits new people, and I mean, like, sometimes we're talking about the merger, sometimes we're talking about like, I don't know, 50, 60, 70 people. Because if you invite in your kingdom like 2 players, nobody care. But if you invite like 70 people, yeah, definitely is going to influence your kingdom. So from there, I have seen this over and over, where get decent amount of recruits, and at one point, just those new players show up the first KVK, and the next one, for some reasons, half of them don't show up. Again, it can be anything in the real life. So, I'm not blaming the people, but just the leaders have to not confuse these things. I mean, just by removing the death weight, your kingdom is never going to have the death weight. It's going to have death weight the next KVK. You're going to remove it, and it's going to be having death weight again and again and again. I mean, it's just how the things work in general. Again, people cannot be at the same position, in the same place in their life this year, next year, and next year. I mean, it is what it is. Then I noticed something even more interesting. People keep asking why the migration limits are so restrictive. Why inactive players still count? Why they can't just rebuild the kingdom however they want? And the more I thought about it, the more I realized maybe the system isn't trying to help you rebuild your kingdom. Maybe it's trying to stop kingdoms from becoming too strong. That's the completely different objective. Because imagine if every struggling season 2 kingdom could freely combine into one super kingdom. Season 3 matchmaking would become a mess. Instead of balance fights, you do have a handful of stacked kingdoms crushing everybody else. Suddenly, those annoying migration limits start making a lot more sense, not because they're fun, but because they're protecting the overall health of matchmaking. And this is absolutely true because let's say we make the kingdom expand to like 1,000 people and not like the current limit. I mean, right now, I don't know what is the current limit. Maybe I can see somewhere here. I don't know. But imagine if this limit expands. I mean, there is no restrictions. Top players is going to join in the top kingdoms. In the top kingdom, most likely the top kingdom. Why is that? Because it's by nature. Spenders want to play with spenders. If I provide a gold chest for the alliance, I want to know somebody else in the alliance is going to tomorrow provide a gold chest for me or something like this. I mean, just the nature of this type of games. Spenders collect together and they play together. And it's not only that, because you just feel the power. You know, when you have a rivals, I mean, when you have a strong people like you know, you feel strong. And this is a very nice feeling to have. Till if you are playing only with free-to-play players. But those restrictions, I strongly believe, is mostly for the health of the matchmaking. People may complain about some restrictions, but they're trying to achieve something that the game just cannot allow, because a lot of other kingdoms is going to suffer, a lot of players is going to get just frustrated at the end of the day. And I strongly believe, I mean, this just going to affect the overall health of the matchmaking. And if this is true, there I think a lot of leaders are measuring success with the wrong metrics. They're continuing migrations, they're counting migration slots, they're counting inactive accounts, they're counting available points, but the game isn't won by any of those numbers. It's won by activity. Think about it. Would you rather have 100 players where only 50 or 40 actual fighters, or 60 players where 55 never miss a war? I don't think that's even a difficult choice. Yet most discussions spend hours talking about migration points and almost no time talking about participation. That's backwards. So when I hear a player say our kingdom is doomed because inactive players are still counted, I understand the frustration, but I don't think that's the lesson Season 2 is trying to teach. I think Season 2 is exposing something much more important. It's separating kingdoms that relied on early game hype from kingdoms that build a real community. Because once the casual players leave, all that left is your actual core. And that's the group that decide whether your kingdom is going to survive. Not the migration list, not the inactive accounts, the people who still log in every day. So maybe inactive players aren't the biggest problem at all. Maybe they're just revealing the problem that were already there. And I think that's why so many kingdoms are solving the wrong problem. They're trying to build the perfect migration list when they should are building the kind of kingdom players never want to leave. I'm curious, what is your experience has been? Has migration actually fixed your kingdom, or did it simply expose a completely different problem once the new season has started? Anyway, guys, that is for this video. Huge thank you to all channel members for supporting the channel. If you do like to support the channel as well, you can check out the join button below. Members get early access to videos, exclusive content, member shoutouts, and Warwords member can reach me out directly for strategy and account advices. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next one.